thoughts are happening automatically. It is not that there is a Carol there who's thinking. Thoughts are simply happening automatically. Speech. It is not that you are there who speaks. It is happening automatically. And actions. It is not that you are acting, but actions are taking place all the time. So they are happening there of their own accord automatically. Now you have got to just see that. You have to see how speech is happening automatically, thought is happening automatically, and actions are happening automatically. Because that is the fact. Now, for example, let us come to thoughts. You assume that there is a thinker called Carol who is thinking, but there is no such thinker at all. There is just thinking, which is an automatic function of the brain. Just like you breathe automatically, just like your body temperature is maintained automatically, just like digestion happens automatically. Similarly, thinking also is happening automatically. You are not there who is thinking. It's a mere assumption. Suppose you have to draw a circle, the center emerges. In much the same way, when thinking happens, the illusion of a thinker arises. There is no thinker at all. Similarly, speech is also happening automatically, though you think that you are speaking. No. Actions, they are also happening automatically. For example, you might think, Carol might think, okay, I shall decide to move my arm, and there I have moved it. But then, if we were to watch Carol's brain real time, which is possible today, you would notice that a fraction of a second before she moved her hand, her brain had decided to move the hand, and the hand moves. But she suffers from the illusion that she decided to move her arm and the arm moved. All things are happening automatically. Similarly, when you come to your body, you must understand that your body is not your body, because this human body is millions of years old. You did not design it. You did not make the changes in that body, and you did not conceive it. You had virtually no role with it. You did not make it grow. It grew on its own. So your body is not your body. Your mind is not your mind. Your thoughts are not your thoughts. They're more like this. You're wearing some nice dress, and Carol would say, this is my dress. But then, did Carol design that dress? No. Did she tailor it? No. Did she make it in a textile mill? No. Did she grow the cotton or whatever went into that on her own? No. Nowhere she has played any role at all, and yet she claims this dress is my dress. Similarly, thoughts have evolved over millions of years. Not Carol's thoughts. They're all there in the thought sphere, and they come in and they go out. And yet Carol thinks, these are my thoughts. They are not hers. Her body similarly is not her body. Similarly, her mind. What is the mind? The flow of thought. And that mind too is not her mind. It's a very ancient mind it is. And that's not hers. And herself, I am there. The sense of separateness is a concept. It's an illusion. So nothing is hers. But then she identifies herself with her thoughts, with her body, with her mind, and thinks that she exists. This is called anatma, or false identification. She's not that, but she thinks she's that. And why does she do it? It's called prajnaparada, failure of intelligence. That is the intelligence we talk in level 2. When intelligence arises, this false identification ceases. You realize that you are no more your thoughts, no more your mind, no more your body, and no more the so-called self, which is non-existent in the first place. To see is to be free. That happens for a short time. But then for it to continue, you have to watch the naming process in which the mind indulges in. The problem is with the naming process. So the problem starts with the naming. The moment you say it's a charge, then what charge? When it came, the whole story comes. So you have to observe the fact that you are naming. The mind is constantly naming. If it stops naming, the mind has no role to play at all. You just put in some basket somewhere, it's lying there. So you have to observe this process of naming. That's all. Everything else automatically stops. You're just intensely aware. To be intensely aware, It's all that there is. You are living. Keep doing it. Suddenly you see you're out of the mind. Right now you're within the mind. All your seeking, all your search is within the mind. And within the mind there's nothing but suffering, because the mind is a limitation. When there's a limitation, there's a division. When there's a division, there's a conflict. When there's a conflict, there's wastage of energy, which is misery or suffering. On the other hand, if energy is conserved, the stillness of energy is meditation, is joy, is bliss, is love. So what you have done is, within the framework of the mind, let us call it a prison, you have beautifully arranged all the furniture. A little security in your family, a little in your wealth, a little in your name and fame, and this and that. It's all very beautifully organized to manage your suffering. I'm not against it. Perfect, go ahead and do it. But then you will not really experience what it is to live. You will not truly live. You are existing beautifully. Now you have to get out of this prison, that is the mind. You step out of your mind. Rather, what happens is, you become a witness to your own mind. If as somebody trapped inside has come out, and who is the one who's come out? Nothing but consciousness. Consciousness had earlier got involved with the mind, now it is coming out. It's not the I or the me or the you, it is simply consciousness, and its qualities are witness. It witnesses the mind. In other words, you can actually see your thoughts. The thoughts are like you being on a river bank and all things are floating on the river. Similarly, you'll find all thoughts are flowing. Suppose there's a woman moving and you may be attracted to the woman, and before you could do something, the woman has gone out and the thought too has moved out. You cannot follow her. You cannot chase her. It's gone. So all things are going around and just witnessing all the time. And similarly, when you speak, you will notice that the mouth is speaking. Very strange it is. You're going on speaking and you can watch it. That's a perfect job. And all actions like cooking or doing some repairs or any kind of thing, everything is happening automatically like before. The only thing is, now you're watching it now. Now unless you get there, there's no way you can comprehend it. It's what happens when you finally make it. And there's nothing but only joy, unconditional joy, and simply unconditional love. Because these are the properties of consciousness. Not that you have love or that you have joy. You are not there anymore. Not there. The question is gone, the questions have gone, the answers have gone. Right now you have gathered a lot of answers for all the questions you have got. And the questions come from the questioner. But the questioner himself is gone. So you won't ask questions like, is there a God? Is a God? Who made God? What is the purpose of life? What's the meaning of this? All these things just disappear because you are God. When you surrender and feel helpless, then the Kundalini rises. When the Kundalini rises, seeing happens. Not that you see. There's no you who is seeing. Seeing happens. Seeing is effortless. Accepting is effortless. All that we have spoken of is effortless. If you put in effort, you will not get there. The only purpose of putting in effort is to realize you are helpless and that there's nothing you could do. Your role is up to that point. Thereafter, Kundalini takes over. Seeing happens. Seeing does not lead to anything. Seeing is to be awakened. You should not think you will see and therefore something will happen. Seeing is the awakened state. Initially it comes and goes, and therefore we say you move into and move out of awakened states. But you should not mistake the awakened state for awakening. The awakened state has to deal with changes in brain chemistry. Awakening has to deal with changes in brain physiology. The awakened state, since it deals with brain chemistry, comes and goes. After getting the state anchored, you must move into awakened states as frequently as possible. As you keep doing this, the brain physiology changes. Once it changes, you become awakened. Your sadhana has to be to move into awakened states as often as possible. All that we are saying is, just be aware of what is going on. That's all. Now, You seem to be trying to get somewhere. In oneness, where you are, you will remain there. You will not get anywhere. There is no becoming in oneness. There is only being. Now you cannot say, I want to become a true channel. I want to be truthful. I want to be loving. I want to be kind. I want to be compassionate. If you project such a thing, that is not oneness. All that oneness is telling is, look into yourself. No matter what is there, the content is never important. All that is required is just be aware of what is there. If you're not a true channel, just be aware of that. If there are mental blocks, just be aware of that. If there's no love, be aware of that. And any other kind of problem, just be aware of it. What is there is never ever important. What is important is being intensely aware of what is going on. That is the first step. That is the last step. It does not mean by being aware you are going to go somewhere. No, not at all. Awareness is the be-all and the end-all. To be aware is to be awakened. To be aware is to be enlightened. What is there is not important. That is why it is the first step. It's also the last step. Because nowhere to go. You're all the time thinking you can go somewhere. Where can you go? The only truth is whatever is there. But then you are condemning the truth. You are justifying the truth. You are giving explanations. And you are saying, this is not okay. This is jealousy. This is anger. This is hatred. You are naming it. The naming is the problem. When you name it, you are applying thought. And thought either condemns or justifies. The whole thing is lost. So the only thing is, what is there is there. Why do you say it's bad? Why do you say jealousy is bad? Why do you call it jealousy? That is the truth with you. That's all. And if you become aware of it, it gives you tremendous joy. That's all. Awareness is joy. Awareness is love. Awareness does not take you to love, does not take you to joy. Awareness is everything. That's all there is to human life. Human beings are designed to be aware. But you are not aware, you are daydreaming. All the time you are daydreaming. Thought, building mental concepts, beliefs, values, ideas, I must get there. You are caught up in this game, which is daydreaming. Now if you stop daydreaming, you are aware. Or if you are aware, you stop daydreaming. That's all. To be aware is to live. To live is to be awakened, to be enlightened. And then immediately, you also become a channel. It all happens naturally. Because when you are aware, you are in the present. In the present, there is a presence. The presence is God. You are getting closer and closer to God, and there's complete awareness, there's complete presence, and you are God. That's all there is to it. And out of that, you will act. How you will act, nobody can predict. You might be very loving, or you might give a slap. How you will act, nobody knows. It is not right action or wrong action, good action or bad action. It is action. And all action is perfect. But if you were to use a scripture or some moral values or some ethics, some ideas, and then act, that is reaction. Maybe you become a saint. We are not talking about making you into saints, not at all. We are talking about making you into sages, people who are aware, who are awake, and to act. What action that is, we do not know. It could be violent, it could be non-violent, it could be kind, but whatever it is perfect. That's what we are talking about. Whereas we see from the question, we have made a lot of projections and we are saying, this is not good, this must change. There is no change in oneness. We maintain that no change is possible. All change is impossible. That only you must learn from oneness. The only change is to learn all change is impossible and be with the what is. That's all there is to it. So you have to understand that is the wrong question. We are not expecting you to change at all. It's not possible. Be where you are. Only thing is be intensely aware.